we are called to share the gospel to a watching world. So utilizing the 1/168, how does that sign, or the heart behind that sign, how is that meant to empower us as Peter was boldly called to go? How does that empower us to go as well?
Yeah, so in our worship center on the wall, when you walk in, there's a brick facade, and right on that wall is the sign 1/168. It's a black sign with that fraction. And that goes back to what I was describing earlier. There's an hour or so that we gather on Sundays. There's 168 hours in the week. And so one of the things I do to cast vision, and the Lord just, I'm sure that's out there. I didn't dream that up. Like I saw that somewhere and thought, that's exactly what we're trying to accomplish. To be disciples, not just on Sunday, but if we're really going to advance the gospel and see people by the thousands like they did in Acts 2 come to faith, it's going to have to be more than Sunday. Yeah. And we all intuitively know that. So being able to call for that and say, what are you going to do in the next 167 hours until this moment and this hour next Sunday? So that's why we have that sign up there. I do think lots of churches have great signs and they have great mission statements on the wall, and it never makes it into the fabric in the hearts of the people. I'm pleased that I think that's caught on, that we think about what am I going to do when I go out in the Great Commission when I leave here. And then, your second question, when you think about how we do that and how we do it well, I really think, I want to go back to your role as a groups minister. I think they have to go hand in hand. Like you have to wed like the sermon with what we're asking people to live out. So if I say that, and you and I are working together to say, what do we want our group leaders to do? And how do we want them to really run with that? That's got to be in tandem. Yeah. Or else it's perhaps an effective thing on a Sunday morning, but then we don't help them with that grassroots. Because a member could say, I want to be faithful to that, but I don't know how. And as I've told you, we've never had a want to problem at Avenue South. We've stumbled upon some, I don't know how to do that. So I think you got to wed those two together, preaching and Sunday morning worship along with disciple making.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, on the funny note, one of my favorite pieces of swag that the Church Avenue South has is the 1/168 sticker. Used to be on my laptop. It was great.
And what happened to that?
Well, I got a new laptop and just decided not to stickerify it. But man, that's a powerful piece of marketing.
I will say every time I go to Ave South, I take my oldest with me, Scout. And the first thing he'll ask is, Dad, what's that? Because he's actually going, Dad, that's a horrible math problem. I don't know what that is. He's trying to break down the decimals. Like, dude, that's not what it is.
Right.
But I love it because then I have the opportunity to explain, here's what we're trying to do with that.